All right, we are live and my Facebook is loading. We are going to just start while my son has requested that I must play this song because last time he saw me 50 are live and my Facebook is loading. We are going to that's the echo that I always try to stop. All right. So I'm going to play this music for everybody because this my son has definitely told me that I must.
I told you right from the start. You just say the word and I go. You will never be alone. Even when we go through changes, even when we're old. Remember that I told you I found my way back home. I could never let you go. Couldn't run away if I tried. 'Cause even when I'm all alone, you got a hold of my mind. And I'll always let you know that I'm always gonna hold on. And I told you right from the start. You just say the word and I go. No, it doesn't matter how far. 'Cause your love is all that I know. Baby, you just stay where you are. And you know I won't be too long. Hold on, hold on. Remember when I told you no matter where I go, I'll never leave your side. You will never be alone. Even when we go through changes, even when we're old. Remember that I told you I found my way back home.
So I shall stop this. It's a long, long song. But my son told me that, Mama, can you play this song before we again start your next 50? So now slowly he's getting integrated into this project, and I wanted to play it because he said, you must. Um, all right, so today I'm back. 51st mother, the next 50 league is starting. I cannot tell you how excited I am. I took a 2 days break and I'm even more excited because I was not meant to do this today. I was meant to do it tomorrow. And Lucie is here. It's actually something that I asked when I started this book, that I wish I could feature Lucie as a mom. And here it is. Lucie is here with the mom as a mom here, and I totally love her. She knows I've been saying that. Lucie, welcome. Lucy, introduce yourself because I always say people who live the story tell their story the best. So no biodatas, no reading out of the papers. Go ahead and tell your story till here. Who's Lucy and how have you been here?
Oh my God, I don't know where to start. Thank you for having me, Shika. I love the project that you have taken on. It is such a. I've been watching you. It's going so well for you. I am so proud to be number 51. I'm the beginning of the end, so to speak. And so my name is Lucie Rosa Staggi. Lucie Rosa is my name. Staggi was my ex-husband's name, and I just took on that name because I thought it would be easier. Because Lucie, I've always lived in Spanish-speaking countries, and Lucie and Rosa were two first names, and very confusing for people. So I attached that name, and I thought it would be easier, but it turned out to be more difficult. Anyway, where shall I start with my story, Shika? I mean,
Whatever comes in your mind, this is an open space. It's a chit chat conversation. Whatever comes, tell people about who Lucie is and how.
right.
Till here, what's her journey? Let's hear that first, and then we'll move on to you being a mother.
Okay, I'll try to give you the short version. You know, first of all, I was born in French Canada, and I was educated there. And being born in French Canada for a woman at my age was not very. It was, you know, you were expected either to marry and have children, or to be a teacher, to be a nurse, or something like that. And I just wanted more out of life. So for me, and I wanted to leave immediately. And as a young girl, you couldn't leave home till you were 21. So when I was a legal age, I took my money that I had inherited from my godparents and I went to Europe.
Wow.
First, my father was against it, but my mother was one of those women who just encouraged me to do what I wanted to do. And so she always backed me up. And so there I went off to Europe, and the reason I chose Spain was because Spanish was my major. And you know, it's an odd thing, because even in college, it always seems like I took the hard path of something. I could have majored in French. It was a language that I grew up with. And no, I chose Spanish, something I didn't know and I wanted to learn, and I majored in that. And when I graduated back then, they didn't teach you how to speak. I could read perfectly, I could understand perfectly, I couldn't speak. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to Spain, I'm going to immerse myself. And that's what I did. And it's very funny. I'm at one point I wanted to be an interpreter for the United Nations. So I found this college at this university in Perugia, and I loved Italians and I love Italy. And so I applied, and I wanted to go to the University of Perugia to study translation. When my older sister got married, and she was the first one to get married, so the pull of my family to come back for the wedding, you know, so that's what brought me back. And then there was another pull to get out of there. And so I immigrated to the United States. I was actually, at one time they used to call you an alien. So I was an alien in the United States for a long time before I was, you know, before I got my green card. So the way I started my career was I had become a teacher in a finishing school in Canada, because I needed a background in secretarial skills. New York was hiring people because there was a lack of secretaries in those days. So I had to go back to school after being graduated from college to learn how to type and learn how to do shorthand. And I was so good that the director asked me to teach. That's how I started my teaching career. I did 2 years there. I worked for a year, and then I went to the States. And then my first job was at the bank in the bank in New York, and I trained typists and stenographers to be secretaries. And then I did various jobs in New York, and then the thought came to me, oh my God, you know, I want to get married. New York is not a place to have kids, so I need to leave. I need to go somewhere, and I didn't want to go back to Canada. So you know, in my mind, California and the palm trees. So I moved myself to San Francisco, and there I lived for 35 years. And then, and I taught in the private school with the Jesuits, and in the public school also. And then I want to say I retired, but I never did retire. I retired to Mexico. So you can see that the wanderlust, the traveling in me was always part of my of my DNA, so to speak. And I love to travel. And so, you know, when I retired, all I wanted to do was, I remember thinking all I wanted to do was be. I wanted to stop doing. And so that's what I did for about 10 years. And I thought, you know, I want to learn tennis that I never had time to do. I want to go back to playing bridge that I never had to do. And I thought those two things are great. One will take care of the body, the physical body. The other one is, the duplicate bridge will take care of firing the neurons, keep those going. You know, and I did that for 10 years, and I had a relationship. And then after 10 years, my relationship came to an end, and there I found myself at 70 single. I'm going, oh my God, how does this happen to somebody in life? How do you become single at 70, you know, usually, you know? So I thought, you know, there I was, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I had some property. So one of the first things I decided to do was increase my income. I made one of my rentals Airbnb, became successful immediately. I loved hostessing. If I couldn't travel, then I loved people who were traveling. And then I thought, well, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I have a big dream here. And I remember the dream came to me because Mary Morrissey, who was one of my mentors, I went to one of her events. And you had to do the time machine. And I thought, the time machine, I don't even have a dream. And all of a sudden, this dream came to me because I remembered this scene. And I wanted to help. I wanted to create a village and a center for octogenarians in my village, because there was a pull out of people who were turning 80. Their children who are now 60 wanted their parents to come back to the United States or Canada because they were afraid that they would fall, or they just wanted to take care of their parents because they were 80. And their parents didn't need taken care of. They were living a vital life here, out dancing every night, playing tennis. They were involved in a lot of interesting organizations here. I mean, these people were vibrant. But the younger crowd in the United States and Canada just thought, oh my God, what if they fall? What if you have something happen? So they all, there was a pull to bring back mom and dad so that they could be near us. And what did that mean? Oh, put them in a home and we'll see them once a week. Oh, and I thought, no way, I've got to change this situation. And that came from a scene of a friend of mine whose mother had been here for 30 years. She came and lived with her mother, but her brothers wanted the mother back in the States. And the mother didn't want to go back. The daughter didn't want the mother to go back. And I thought, there's a need. I need to fulfill this. I'm going to create a center, a village, something to show that the octogenarians can live here and they're safe. There are plenty of doctors, plenty of hospitals. They don't need to go back to where they don't want to go, So I guess that's my story.
Wow, Lucie, Lucie, unbelievable. Like every time I meet you, every time I speak to you, I let me say this because I keep saying this, I so wish I'm like you at the age of 75, standing like this, telling a story, making impact, living a full life, still having a dream at 75.
Absolutely.
I still have a dream. Oh my God, I'm still putting a business. I'm still, up the whole night. On top of this, encouraging people, people like me, people who are coming up, you're always there to support them with full energy. But at the same time, you're always there taking care of yourself, doing things. Unbelievable, Lucie. Unbelievable. I know that I cannot say this enough. You're definitely on my list of first people that when I start traveling outside again, I would come and meet you, Lucie, for sure.
Oh, it would be a pleasure.
It's just unbelievable. And I understand what you're talking about. This is a new thing to hear. That yes, we are worried that our parents, would be wanting to come. They should be back in close proximity. Though in India, parents still live together, but eventually we are also, big cities are becoming very Western, and I love that idea that there are a group of 8-year-olds who feel that they do not need anything. They are living a full life. They're playing tennis. It's like this thing needs to come out. This really needs to come out to inspire so many people that the life just keeps going on, and no matter what age you are. And I like that you made a decision health-wise and brain-wise, and I would be taken care of financially, everything. Great, Lucie. Really beautiful, really beautiful. So let's move on to your journey as a mom. And also, everybody, she's a cheerleader. Like, that title I've not taken away from Lucie. Lucie was the cheerleader for us on the 5 cheerleaders that we had. She is still going to be a cheerleader, so she will be cheerleading us anyway with her cheerleading messages, and there's a lot of things planned for cheerleaders as well in this whole journey. So she's a cheerleader and my 51st mom. So only mother who's also a cheerleader and a 51st mom. And Melanie's here as well, giving hearts to us. So let's go ahead and talk about your journey as a mom, Lucie.
Well, that happened in San Francisco. I lived in California, San Francisco, beautiful city, for 35 years. And when I went to California, I loved being single. I always thought, I have to kind of perfect myself before I can ever live with somebody else. And there I found myself at 36, still single. And I thought, I think it's time for me to have a relationship. And I'll tell you, the minute I said that, friends came out of the woodwork, and I met a man who was totally right for me. I mean, he loved to dance, he loved to travel, he loved to entertain, he loved good food, he loved everything that I loved. And so we had such a good time. We loved to downhill ski. We had a wonderful time. And so we started a relationship immediately. And then we lived together. You know, I was always afraid of marriage. I was afraid of marriage because I thought it would change me.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought it would take my independence away.
Right.
And of course, that was a limited belief, you know. But I saw my mother, who got married, had 7 children, and was like, and I remember thinking, oh my God, this is a 24/7 job. This is not what I want. So in my mind, I didn't even want children. And so I was very, very careful because, you know, you just had to be. So we lived together, and Jim, my ex-husband, had 4 kids. One was already married and out of the house, and he had 3 other children, and the oldest one was 16. And his wife took the kids away to another state, and he was devastated because he was very, very close to his kids. And what happened is, it was a sad affair because she was from a wealthy family, but she also had gotten into drugs.
Right.
And gotten taken up with a younger man. And the older daughter, who had an aneurysm, had to be taught to speak again and learn how to walk again. And her father, my ex-husband, was so good to her that really she needed to be with him. But unfortunately, she died of hepatitis. So you can imagine, he was devastated. We got right on the plane, and he just went and got the other 2 kids immediately from her. And so there was no problem with the legal state of affairs. So I became a mother overnight to a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. And he had asked me, he said, you know, this is what I'm going to do. So you have a right, if you want, to leave the relationship. This is what I'm going to do. Well, that's not an easy answer to make in 24 hours or 48 hours. And I thought, okay, well, I love this man. So I never wanted kids. I'm a school teacher. And of course, his idea was, oh, you'll love my kids and you'll be a good mother and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know, we'll see. And so, because I was afraid, I was in great fear. So I said, okay, let's do it. And I was studying at night for my master's degree on top of all this. So I thought, oh, how am I going to manage all this? But I thought, and then he and I both wanted a family. So we wanted to eat together, and that was all important. But my ex-husband would come home at 8 o'clock. And so it was hard to manage the kids until then. Anyway, it became a very difficult situation. The poor children, you know, you can't take children away from their mother. You just can't. And you can never replace the mother. And I never tried to. All I wanted to do was give them a good home, to let them know that their dad loved them. But, you know, they rebelled continually, not so much the girl, but the 12-year-old. I mean, he would do things to me like, I love to bicycle. I come home one day and he had my bicycle all apart. You know, he was getting back at the adults, and who was he going to pick on? Of course he was going to pick on me, you know. And so it was a difficult situation. Anyway, at one point, and one summer it became, you know, I tried and I did everything I could. One summer I said to my ex-husband, I'm going away to Spain again. I need to do some coursework for a course that I have to teach. And because he was left alone with the 2 kids, by the time I came back, Greg, the son, had been kicked out of the house because he could not manage the son. And so his sister said, I'll take him. And within 6 months, she kicked him out of the house. And the poor kid ended up on the street with drugs and whatnot. And thank God for Jim's father, who was so Italian, and he was his only blood grandson. He kind of rescued and saved him. And anyway, to make that long story short, we are best friends today. Greg, just every time he sees me, he says, oh, I am so sorry if I haven't given you such a hard time when I lived with you. And I'm, you know, and the cutest thing that happened last year after his mom died is he sent me flowers for Mother's Day and said, you know, Happy Mom's Day. And the young girl, we always did get along. She was a little hard. She was very stubborn. She knew exactly what she wanted. She she went to Planned Parenthood because I didn't know how to deal with children and with young girls, and I had never been taught, what do you do? How do you tell them about motherhood and stuff like that? I mean, all very foreign to me. And she went to Planned Parenthood and found out how to take care of not getting pregnant, and she got involved with a boy when she was in high school, and stayed out all night. And one of the things that I said was, I can't put up with this. And so we sat her down and said, look, here are the pros for living with us, and here are the cons for living with us. You take the whole weekend, you decide whether you want to stay living with us or go back to your mother. And she did that. And so she decided to go back and to live with her mother. And so she only lived with us about 2 years. So it was the son that lived with us the longest. And so I'm closest to the son because of that. And but they're both married and have children of their own and very successful, and God love them. And, you know, God loved my ex-husband, God loved me.
You know,
So that's my story of stepmom.
yeah, you're just not like, what's happened to me, Lucy, is that with this whole thing, and you've been so open and absolutely vulnerable by saying these things, knowing that people will judge you, people will do things. But the one thing that I've learned in this project is that, like, even if you're a stepmom, you're a mom, you're taking responsibility. Every shade of mom is a shade of mom and should never be judged for what happened, what's okay, what's not. You've and I totally admire you for this, that you've been true to yourself and you've tried your best, and you've not lived two separate lives, which most of the people, generally mothers, start living. There's one life here and one life there, and a lot of chaos that we live in starts coming out, and that's how we start putting it on our children as well. And when we live in guilt, and then we don't figure out what's happening. And like I keep saying this, I was talking to Mike the other day, and I was telling him that it looks as if I'm on in control the minute these interviews go down, and then things go haywire, and I'm just trying to think, should I live my dream or should I be with them? Or it is very tough. It doesn't matter, you're a stepmom, you're a young mom, you're an old mom, you're a grandmom. This just keeps happening to us all the time when children are around us. And that's this project all about, because this is a particular pulse that is not being discussed enough,
Yeah.
in the world. And I just keep saying that the only thing I'm learning from this project is this, just one more shade of a mother, right?
Yeah. And you're right, mothers do give up, even stepmothers. I remember I had to make a big decision. I had to give up the study of my master's degree because I couldn't do it all when I became the stepmom. So I gave that up. That part of me I gave up,
But I somehow, I don't know, is it only me or otherwise it's this thing? I don't like the word stepmom. I don't know why. I've never liked
No, I don't know where it came from. I tried to look it up.
from of stepmom, it just, I don't know. And it makes the mother who's actually wanting to take care of another person's child this separate mother, like another mother or some, and the original mother and the stepmom. And this just creates a lot of already in the child's mind that she's not one of us, right? And incidentally, I was reading some stories when my kid was very young, the older one. I decided to read him some very classics, right? And I realized that everywhere there is this stepmom, and this stepmom is kicking out the children. This stepmom is doing something bad to children. This stepmom is doing something else. And for me, my mother was taken away when I was 6 years old. But I was raised by many, many mothers, and I've only found love, and I've only found a lot of embrace. I've only found today the positive person I am. I'm because I've been raised by many, because my father had 3 sisters. My father has two brothers in the same. I have a joint family of 13. There were mothers there. There were his sisters coming who were taking me away to their house to hear my dad's friends, best friends. I stayed in their house. and everybody only showered love to me. So when I
Right.
started reading those classics, I was like, I'm not reading this to my son. Like my son doesn't even know what the word stepmom is, and I don't know. Uh, I somehow want to replace. I'm looking for a word that we can replace. This is a stepmom. This is not a stepmom. This is a,
Yeah.
yeah, we must replace this. I don't know what you think about it, but it doesn't go well with me when we talk about the word
Well,
stepmom.
I don't think I ever used that word with them. I mean, they always called me by my first name. And so that was fine with me because, it wasn't unusual that they would. And that was fine with me. And I told them from the very beginning, I'm not here to replace your mom. I'm just here to give you the love that I possibly can give you, that you can receive.
And you've been
And
always very, I can see it, like, like you're 75 now. You're talking about times when things were so different. You were very,
Mhm.
very clear since your age of 18, 20 that what you wanted to do, where you wanted to be. I was very clear actually at the age of 18. I knew I'll become a photographer, and I became a photographer. But even in India, that was unheard of, women, young girl wanting to be a photographer. And then I became India's first baby and child photographer. And baby and child photography, my God, because they thought that the concept of black eye was very strong here. So the grandmothers will come in and say, oh, this strange girl is coming and she's going to take the picture away, and there will be some stuff like, but of course it changed, and now many girls are 20 years down the lane. So I totally admire you, Lucy, that your journey has been very clear, and you remind me of Jane Goodall. I don't know why, because Jane Goodall she must be, I think she's about 84, and she one of the people I really want her to be either giving me a forward to my book or something like that. It's like another one of my dreams. I really look up to her, and she was just like you, I think, because whatever I've read of her, very young age, she decided she wanted to be with chimpanzees. She wanted to be in forest, and in her country, women at that age never stepped out and did things
Right.
that she did, right? So that's an honor to know you and to actually interview you, and you're inspiring many people through this interview, Lucy. So let's just go forward. You also, and you told me a very interesting story also about your at your time photography was all about. People used to say, "Oh, enjoy nature," and I was talking the opposite. When you interviewed me, I was talking the opposite thing, that be present, see through photography, and there was an
Right.
interesting conversation. So you've seen these years, but you also told me that your mother never liked taking pictures. Am I right? She never liked being in front of the
Yeah,
camera.
my mother would always say, "Oh, don't take my picture, please." She never liked. And I don't either. I don't like my picture taken, really, and I don't take good pictures. I mean, there are people who are very photogenic. That's not me. I mean, every once in a while, I'll see a picture I like of myself, and I go, "Oh, look at that! That looks good," But for the most part,
I mean, that's for everybody. That's with me as well. Like even most part, even now, even in spite of heading this movement, I'm still feeling, oh my God, this picture is not nice. But it doesn't bother me anymore, as it bothers many people, many women, and I've overcome that through this project. That it doesn't bother me if it's a bad picture, it's a bad picture. Just yesterday, my sister-in-law said, "You're looking so tired." I had got really tired. That's why I went for a break. And she's like, "You're looking very tired. Do you want me to post this picture in the family group on Facebook?" I said, if I don't allow you to do that, my entire project is a fake project. So you go
exactly.
ahead and do it. Even if I look tired, I don't care about what people think. I'm tired. That's okay. Like I'm raising a child. I'm doing a
You're
project.
working really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm tired. I'm tired. That's okay.
yeah.
But now that you're here, you will have to also cross this journey, and all these 100 moms will cross this journey, Lucy, of taking their self-portrait. And this whole movement is about, and I'm still having these moms here in the comments, still coming back and saying, can you take this photographer, some of the photographers work? I said, no, it is going to be a self-portrait. It is going to be you taking your picture and loving it and sending it to me. So I'm really looking forward to what your story is going to be all about, through your picture taken by you, and then loving it and putting it in the book forever, right?
Okay, so as I'm understanding, I'm going to take a self-portrait of myself and send it to you, right?
And that's why I
Okay.
keep saying this book is not going to be about just a portrait shot of yours. It's going to be your story. And we have a mom who sent a picture of herself. So she just loves to walk. Her kids have grown up. She walks and she walks. And when I asked her, Dom, what's your like dream? And she said, I want to walk the longest path in the world, which took a man 8 years to walk. right? So she's in India from Italy, and India is considered not so safe. Even I would not go to places she's been to, but she's always been safe. 6 years she's been walking. So her picture is herself that small, and just mountains and barren land and stuff, and
Oh,
that's it. She's just walking, and that makes us stop and think, what's the story? And then we'll read the story. So
exactly.
I'm just letting people know that book is going to be like a story book, because mothers' portraits are going to be there in index. This is how Lucy looks. This is her email address. This is what is. We don't want that. We want the story to be out. So every mother is also discovering her story, and that there's a mother who's sent me a very goofy picture of hers because she likes to make her child laugh. So it is such a goofy picture of her, and she's like, that's it. Like, we've decided that's the portrait. And anybody who will look at it will say, who is this mother putting such a goofy picture with helmet and the strap going all around her face? So that's the good part about this book. Stories are going to come out. So I'm waiting for your story, Lucy. I don't know what comes in your mind and your story. So what's your message, being a coach, maybe your kind of clients or people, about this self-portrait thing? What do you think comes into your mind if you wanted to encourage, after going from here, that self-portrait will be another way of discovering yourself?
Well, it's such a wonderful creative idea that you have, that it even gets me thinking, who am I really, and what portrait am I going to send Shika? It's like, oh my God. And so I have nothing but a question mark over my head. And it's a wonderful way for us to stop and think, who am I really, as a mother, as as I'm not going to use the word, because neither one of us like it, as a mom for other children. And I love traveling. So it's something that I'm going to have to think about. And I think that it's a good pause in life to stop and do that at some point, because you know what, it gives you clarity as to how you want to spend the rest of your life. It's like, oh my God, either the thought is, I haven't done enough, now it's time for me to do some more, or, oh my God, look how much more I can do. I mean, for me, all of a sudden I got thoughts in my head as to what I want to do, what I have done, and how I'm going to present myself to you, or to anybody else,
We are visual learners. We've not this thought has not got in, and it's been proven by science or otherwise also. What we learn visually stays with us for very, very long. Some visuals stay with us for very, very long. And what happens is, when writing happens, it's not so static. It flows, like either in a
Yes,
poetry form, or it's in a book form, or in a novel, or in any way blogs. When you take that one shot, like, it's giving me goosebumps right now, that one shot in which you're describing yourself, and then you can look at it in a visual way, that this is what I think I am. And
yeah,
Jamile said that, like, Shika, I'm glad you're doing self-portraits, because Mona Lisa probably will come down and tell us that, what have you portrayed me like? I'm not this woman who sits quietly. I'm this woman who loves to dance in the rain or jump somewhere, or stuff like that.
exactly.
Why are you portraying me like this? So even to reach there, you will have to figure out that one picture that describes you at this point in time, not the whole life, but who it describes you. It's some work, and believe me, it's going to liberate everyone. When the book comes in front of them, they open it and like, I exactly am this at this point in time. It's going to be and that process it takes, a lot of, it's not sinking, honestly telling you, to a lot of mothers. For some mothers, it's still, okay, we are part of a book. Yeah, we have an interesting story. Okay, we are there. And some mothers are totally going crazy, because like you, they're like, who am I? And we can't just write down, who am I? Who am I at this point in time? Forget about you. Even I am thinking till now, what is that one picture that I'm pretty clear, but I'm just still thinking, my picture is again about somebody else. What is that picture about me? And again, that inspires somebody else. That's the
Yeah,
picture. It's a tough one to get, because it's not me. It's me, through me inspiring, through my story, somebody else getting inspired and say, I'm Lucy. I would be like Lucy. I'm Chika.
right.
I would want to be like her. I don't want to sit down and not shine. I want to be this. So it's going to be an interesting process. I don't know whether we can get the book out in 100 days. Interviews are for sure in 100 days. but whenever it's out, it's going to be something for these 100 moms for sure.
I think so. I think so. And I'm thinking of the people who are opening up the book, understanding this, looking at the picture and being able to almost imagine the life that this person is living.
Right.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful project.
And, and, and believe me, I'm being very tough on the pictures. So, but I'm doing it very nicely, Lucy. So if you send me a picture, I'll be just saying, yeah, it's there, but there's more to you. And then I will send it back. And then they're like, more to me? Like, really? So I am like individually working with mothers as well, because, and then suddenly what happens, Lucy, I'll tell you, magic happens. I push it back nicely and I'm like, I think something more is there. And then suddenly in the middle of the night, I get this picture, which I'm like, oh my God, this is a picture of the book. This is the page. This is her page. This is so her. And I'm just get ecstatic. And I'm like, one more page done and one more page done and one more page done. And I'm like, still getting goosebumps, but it just takes away my night's sleep for sure. You know, that my God, one more page alive, and this woman is going to become alive in this book forever, for her children, for generations to come, for people to see and to celebrate with other 100 mothers. So Elizabeth is also here joining us. Second mother is a nice name. It's better than.
What did she say? I didn't hear that.
Terry is here. Terry is also one of our moms, and she's here. And she's saying second mother, bonus mom. Melanie is saying bonus mom.
Bonus mom, I like
I
that.
like that as well, Melanie. Bonus mom is
Bonus
nice.
mom. It is. I mean, really.
Bonus
It is bonus.
It is a
I
bonus.
got 2 moms. Yeah.
Bonus
Absolutely.
mom, second mom. Oh God, this is nice. So I think we might change something else, Lucy, through your story. We might just really remove this word from dictionary. And I think we should try to use this word bonus mom in your story somewhere. You know,
We'll have to give credit to whomever came up with the word.
Melanie did that, and second mom is also nice. Terry is here saying that. So Melanie's, of course, coming from a parent and child space, right?
Right.
And
I have heard. I've heard even my. I want to call them my bonus children have said, you know, second mom. They have used that word instead of the stepmom.
It's not a nice word.
Yeah, so I guess they didn't. It never occurred to me, but maybe they didn't like the word either, and they were children. So
yeah,
it says a lot.
A lot. Yeah, it says a lot. Is it an aha moment for you that your children never wanted to call you stepmom? And because you know why? Because all our traditional classicals have not portrayed the word stepmom in a very good way. And I'm glad that I'm interviewing you, because this shade of mom needs to be included and celebrated as well. Because why is it like in every story, the stepmom there's no good stepmom in classics. So maybe they were growing up and your children, like they must be much like 30 years at least behind when they must be kids with you about 20-30 years back. So they must be reading these.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Their children will too. How interesting is that?
I stopped it. I stopped all these classics in my house. I was like, I can't read it. I just can't. Like, it doesn't well with my raising my children with this whole concept of stepmom, or that the world is always bad to you. If some stranger comes, it's always going to be bad. The wolf is always going to be a fox, and all these things that have been given to us. And even in Indian mythology, there are stuff like the Ganesha. You know, the Ganesha. The story of Ganesha is that the father cuts the head, and because he's very powerful, and then he realizes, oh my God, I cut my son's head. And so I was reading. And he gets the elephant head and replaces it, and that's how the Ganesha was formed, because he was the god's son. And I was reading it to my son, and very interestingly, he said, what kind of a father is a god who cuts his own son's head, or anybody's son's head? Forget about his own son's head. I'm like, all right, even this gets shut. This also goes away for you. Right? No more of this spreading these, violent stuff and negative things. So I'm glad. And I just had an aha moment for sure for you that your kids never called you stepmom. Really?
I don't remember them ever calling me that. I mean, they always use my name also, but we never, I don't know. I guess it must have been a foreign, not nice name for me also. Yeah. So I don't remember putting in a lot of attention on it either. So.
Yeah, but the only reason I'm putting attention to it is because many mothers go through this. There are many, many mothers who are calling, glad we are talking about it. Through this book, we will also remove this from our book. Elizabeth is here. She like, Elizabeth is saying, yeah, bonus mom. So like Elizabeth has a new word now. So uh, anytime any mother comes, I'm a bonus mom. Can I be in? Does it sound better? Does it sound better that I'm a bonus mom and I want to be in your book rather than saying, is stepmom also allowed in the book? Yeah, she is.
You know, if you're going to change it, it's got to know where it's coming from. So, you know, so
It's gonna be amazing. This is a new change we are
you're
bringing.
going to be changing the world, Shika. That's what your purpose is here. It's unbelievable. You're going to help so many moms
I hope
and
it's yeah.
so many families. It's wonderful. I applaud you.
Thank you, Lucy. This means a lot. So let's go on and talk about your dream because I know you have a very big event to attend again, which is going to be a long day for you. A lot to soak in, lot to do in that event. So let's because this book is called 100 Self Portrait, 100 Dreams, and we found the tagline, which is almost finalized. It's called 100 Self Portrait, 100 Dreams of Mothers Who Dared to Express. That's the tagline that's coming. What's your dream, Lucy? What's your dream?
Well, you know, I have a big dream is my center village for the octogenarians, as I told you. I didn't even know where to start. And so I thought, okay, it's going to have to be online. How else? I'm not going to go for a job. There's no other way that I know to, you know, the rental is not enough. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start a business online. Where do I start? And I had this a mentor, Bob Proctor, who suggested that I always love when he said, you should have multiple sources of income. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want. You know, I've always heard, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. So I thought, okay. And I was led to e-commerce. So I thought, okay, well, this must be business online, e-commerce. And I got into it full-fledged. I bought the course. I got with the best guru that Bob Proctor had introduced. And I started my journey. And I created my website. I paid for somebody to do it because I couldn't do it. Beautiful website. And I had little Yorkies at the time. It was called Yorkie Town Station. I was going to sell, you know, doggy things for Yorkies. And I got all excited. I had my sister excited, had everything set up. And when I got ready to launch, I had this, oh my God, feelings like, oh my God, I don't want to be selling products all my life. What am I doing? I want to work with people. Wow. You know, I never started that business. And then I was led from that guru who was starting an affiliate program because he was creating apps for Shopify. He was the only one that was allowed. So I joined his program. And because of him, I got introduced to ClickFunnels, and I loved that product. And I thought, but it became too techy for me. And I thought, okay, I'm being led here. And before I knew it, I received this letter from Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. He talks about Dean Martin all the time, Dean Graziosi. And they were starting a new movement called self-education is the new norm. And I'm going, oh my God, yes, I'm an ex-teacher. Of course, I'm going to do this. I jumped in and did it immediately. And took that on. It was my way of being able to work with people. And so the first launch, I didn't know what I was doing. I was watching people, and I was watching Jenna Kutcher become the leader of the leaderboard. She was selling more. She was bringing in more people than anybody else. And I was watching her do it. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be something. I'm going to have to learn how to do this. So the first year, I happened to go on a pilgrimage to Israel, and I didn't know what to do. I got these business cards, and I thought, well, I'll introduce it to some people. The first 5 people that I told about, it was just in a conversation. They bought the program from me, and I made $5,000 in 21 days, and I'm going, oh my God, you can make money online. It was like that was like the beginning. It's like that was the impetus. So I thought, okay, I've got to learn how to do things. And you know, there started my journey. But my journey is really the education of learning how to do business online. That's how I met Mike, and that's how I met coaches. That's how I got into this program and that program. Let me tell you, I spent a lot of money. I am in a place right now where I can save people a lot of money and a lot of frustration, all right, to start their online business. And that's what I am. I'm the bridge to the baby boomers, mostly single women, because single women who are retiring have a different situation than married women. Married women have their husbands that can support them. Single women who want to start their online business and make the money, especially passive income, so that they can live those golden years that we talk about, you know? And so that's my stepping stone to creating my village so that I can get enough money for my foundation. And then I will get to my real dream. So they're stepping stones as I see them.
Lucy, you're sounding like, so my dad is 2 years younger than you. I had mentioned it.
Yes,
And my
you
dad
did.
struggles, with this online shift and then post-COVID and stuff. And he's like, I'm done with it. I am not going to get into learning now. What is online? I'm retired. I'm done with it. We will see whatever it is. And I keep telling him that shift, he's a printer. He's going to be printing the book as well. But I'm like just shift, printing is ending. There's going to be no more prints. It's going to be very rare to have printing done and move online and do this. And he's like, I'm done with it. And then here it is, Lucy, 2 years older than my dad. She's making whole plans. And I keep telling him that, look at Lucy. And Lucy is making all these plans to take more people with her and saying that here's the tech and this is what happens. And it's unbelievable because you're still way ahead of I am in many ways, Lucy. I've been taking this journey for a year and a half as well myself. And one thing after the other. And that's the thing. I think that's a common thing. You start somebody like nah, and then something happens and nah, and then something happens and something happens. But by the time you've ended, like I've ended here, I now suddenly like, oh yes, I can use that as well that I did that time. And I can use that I did that time. And you realize that you need everything that you've crossed, but this needed to be crossed. If you gave up the first time, this is not meant for me. This journey is impossible to do. So I think that whole rope, holding the golden rope, one of the mothers called it the golden rope, just keep holding it, just keep holding it, just keep going up. And then one fine day, everything that you've learned will actually come in use. And this project will be taken on all the technical stuff that I thought, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. And I'm going to use all that to make this book a success for sure, So it's amazing that you did it so many years ahead of me with more spirit, because it's an inspiration. And why I'm saying your age is because my father is younger. I deal with him every day, and I already see a man who's like, fine, I'm done with it. And
Don't be done.
Yeah. Here you are. And I remember you telling me, my friend is a photographer. She's 80 years old. For God's sake, I want her to present her exhibition before she goes away from this world, because she's as good as a National Geographic photographer. And even that has stayed with me. So Lucy, I am telling you, I want to be like you at 75, still uplifting, still becoming that bridge, still being all pepped up to embrace whatever change it brings. And it's an honor to know you. You're amazing. I also think you should write an independent book in itself. Like it's definitely needed, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your dream will come true, because what I'm saying is that my dream has become for these 100 dreams to come true. And everybody has this unique dream. Imagine if these 100 dreams only come true through this book in little ways, it starts. And it will start because the community is coming together, Lucy. Now I'm seeing mothers connecting to mothers, each other, they're asking, and eventually these mothers will, help each other and make their dreams come true. I know it's going to happen. It's going to become a very close-knit 100 women across the world, through this book. So your dream will come true and the village will start for sure. And let's manifest it through this book. And I'm waiting for your story, Lucy. I'm waiting for your story. So I think we should wrap up now, and you have a long day ahead as well. And interviews should be short, so everybody can see the replays.
Mama, it wasn't multi-language.
This was multi-language. You played your song. Yes.
I told you.
I-
I know. He's very happy that I played the song. That's what happens, you know. You see your mothers getting involved. He'll never forget this. That, you
Right.
know, that's why I'm telling mothers that our children will not forget what we are doing, and they will become this eventually. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad he's involved. So, Lucy, would you like to say something before we wrap up and say bye bye to our audience? Everybody's here.
Well, you know, what I'm going to keep in mind is that golden rope. I love that whole idea of the golden rope. I love that analogy. And so, you know, age is just a number, really. And I do feel that. And you're just never too old. You know, it's all up here. It's all up here. And if you can think it, you can achieve it. And, you know, if you believe it enough, you can achieve it. And so that's what I want to say to everybody. You know, had I realized this when I was younger, that I could create, I was master of my destiny, you know.
Yeah.
But you know what? I learned it when I had to learn it, and here I am today. And it's you know, you are where you're supposed to be because the universe works that way.
Right.
So.
Right. It does. And um, the only blessing for me, Lucy, and the more I'm getting involved in this book is that we can bring these stories out that people really need to hear, then keep getting these negative stories out on YouTube or on social media, which puts people down and makes them believe the life is ending, the world is ending, COVID has come in, things are not
Don't
moving.
look at that stuff. Yeah.
No, but that's bombarded, and between that, if this book shines and starts coming out and saying Lucy is there, Mike is there, there's Shikha, there's Elizabeth, there's Terry, there's Melanie, there's everybody here still living their lives, and they're still wanting to do one step ahead than what they are today. They're ready to be vulnerable, they're ready to change, they're ready to learn. I think some good work should be done.
And I think that's a great message. Always be a better version of yourself tomorrow than yesterday.
Absolutely. Love you lots, Lucy. We should
Thank
sign
you.
off, and we have a lot of comments here which I will read. And even Terry likes the word golden thread. I don't know which mother used it. I loved it as well. Like holding the golden rope, she said. Not even like she asked. She's like the golden rope. I'm holding the golden rope, and we just kept on. So suddenly, from a struggle thing, it looks like there was this golden rope. We were holding every knot and just going up, 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 and here we are doing this. So bye bye, Lucy, and I have a great event today. And don't go offline. We are going to start all our interviews from tomorrow. So I'm just going to go off live stream, and bye bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Terry, Elizabeth, Melanie. Debbie's not here. I know Debbie will join in. Francis, lovely. And yeah, we have everybody, but I know many will join the minute they know Lucy's here from the gang as well to join in. And I also want to thank, before again, I want to thank Debbie, I want to thank Elizabeth, I want to thank Supitra, I want to thank Samantha, they are my editing team. Debbie is the pillar, Francis is a pillar, Kirtana, Kavita. Can you imagine? I have already 8 people who have become such support for this willingly, Lucy. I don't know how I got this, how I got this hands to come and hold me and say, Shikha, you keep moving forward. We are there. They do this every day to me. They're like, you keep moving forward. You take care of yourself. We are holding the ground. We will make this happen. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It is a blessing.
It's time when people think only money can get you support. Only things can get you support. It's a big blessing. And I don't even know most of them more than 2 months old. 2.5.
I know.
So
we love the project. It's a wonderful project. Thank you.
And that's what's weighing on me. I'm like, I need to really lead and get this to the end. So I just keep like bring it together in the best possible way. Love you, Lucy. Take care.
Love you too.
Bye,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you.